Welcome to Be Now for Tuesday, June 27th. I'm Don McLeod, and I'm joined by, as usual, Fazal Khan. Faz, how's it going?
I'm good, Don. Is it summer yet? Because I'm looking outside. Summer. It's dark and raining. It's been like that for the last few days.
Well, it is summer. Officially, we're going to talk about summer because the kids get out of school soon. Certain parks open. Canada Day is just around the corner. So, yes, summer has officially arrived. All right. And you know how I know for sure? Because I hear a lot of leaf blowers out there. So I know.
No, because, well, I guess so. I don't know, Don. You know, we're sorry, my camera's shaking here. We got forest fires up north.
Yep.
We've had a tremendous amount of rain. Everything in my yard has grown like 2 or 3 times more than any other year. There's stuff on the ground. There's like pollen. Yep. I don't know what's going on, but I've never seen a growing season like this on yard work like this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I see the grass is growing again. When you get that hot, cold sort of thing, it grows a little bit more and it's growing. I got to cut my lawn. But don't forget, I think last year the growing season was not that great.
Yeah, I didn't water my grass at all. And my neighbors were upset with me because it was brown this year. I see people with their sprinklers on like the day after it rains. And I'm not sure why you do that.
You should only water your lawn about 2 times a week. You don't need to over water it, right? And that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, so this week, Don, we're talking about summer stuff, right? The first one is a new inflatable. Help me out, Don. What is it? An inflatable water?
It's like an inflatable water park. There's, I think, basically it's at Professor's Lake. It's called Wibix. I think it's called Wibbits.
Yeah. And you were out there today.
I was out there today looking at it. Yeah, it's sitting out there. It's all set up. It's all inflatable. It's basically like a big, huge bouncy castle on water. Basically, that's what it is.
Okay, so I actually have a video. I did some research today. This is not of Professor's Lake. It's from some summer camp in Quebec. So, and I kind of grabbed the video. So let me put it up here for everybody. It's a short video, but you'll get an idea of what it is. Here we go.
So we've been working with the Wibbit for the last 3 summers. Kids really enjoying. I would say that it's one of the highlights. But kids coming here, they always asking to go again. They really enjoy Wibbit. I mean, it's been a big change for us because like kids coming for the Wibbit. We are using the Wibbit as a team building training. We're doing training with the counselors, and kids really enjoy the Wibbit. So thank you, Wibbit. We have a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah, that's cool. So,
is that what it looks like at Professor's Lake?
Yeah, it's a bouncy castle. Basically, you got different stations that kids can run around, and they're out in the water. And it's not in the middle of the Professor's Lake, so it's pretty close to the shoreline. So.
And is it free, Don? Can I go?
No, you can't. Well, you got to be over 6 years old to.
Okay, I qualified there.
You qualify, but mentally, you got to be up there, to be able to use it. 6-year-old sometimes is smarter than you, but okay. I think it's $25 for an hour, or 2 hours. $25 for 2 hours, is it? And $15 for a 1 hour slot. So I think you can, time your slot and stuff like that based on availability. But anyway, we'll get more details on it going forward, and I'm sure videos coming on that. So. That's something happens at Professor's Lake. And don't forget, Professor's Lake opens up this Thursday, the 29th. So.
Okay, well, that's cool. I didn't know this was coming. It's something for kids to do in the summertime that's a little bit different. Maybe you go once or twice.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there's a season's pass. It looks like they would need to employ students. So to me, it's all great. I know it's not free, but for something like that, you can't really expect it to be free. That looks like it's very expensive.
Yeah, well, don't forget at Professor's Lake, you have the canoes you can rent. You have the paddle boats you can rent. I know they have the slide. And then if you just want to lie on the beach, you can do that as well, right? So, especially from what I hear tomorrow, it's supposed to be hot and muggy. So that would be a good place to be if you're looking. But it doesn't open up until the 29th, which is Thursday.
Okay, and we don't have video on this, although we do have video. I just didn't prepare it because I completely forgot. I was fascinated by that water park. We also have a new activity hub that you were at on the weekend, right? Maybe
I would say Gore Meadows, and basically it's taken quite a long time to be able to do the retrofit. I mean, obviously COVID had a lot to do with it, but what they've done is they've taken that whole front part of Gore Meadows, that there's parking lots, and then as you go in, they have a big activity field there. Right next to it is a whole brand new bunch of basketball courts, and there's a smaller basketball net in front of the large basketball court, so the little guys can actually play basketball, and the nets aren't like,
and there's
regulation height.
Looks like there's a very big splash pad, and
the big splash pad. There's little activity hubs there that they can crawl around, and there's a slide and little towers, and if you want, they have little stations where there's bars down. You can they show you how to do the push-ups, and then you have a rope climb sort of thing that you can go up, and then it shows you what to do and certain exercises. So it's not only for young kids, it's adults can use those things as well, right?
So I can go there as well then.
You can go there as well, and you can do the go through the exercise. I think they have like certain exercise stations, and they tell you what to do and how to do them. So it's something in 910. Harkurat, Singh, and Gurtap Tor. There was 910 counselors up there. They were there touting it, and I know that they were talking about the basketball courts having some sort of thing in the summertime with the youth up in the basketball court. So I'm sure they're organizing that going forward. So it's a good thing. I mean, the more you engage.
The only issue I have about the Gore Meadows Community Center is its location.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk to for most.
Yeah, people. I do see people biking and stuff like that from the nearby upper areas that are there. But I mean, it's good because for the kids, as long as they're doing something instructive, I mean, they're not out breaking windows and robbing cars, right?
All right. So there's lots going on there. What else is happening?
Well, we got Canada Day coming up too, right? I mean, that's coming up. Jacuzzi Park.
Are you going this year, Don? Are we going? Are we covering anything?
Don't know, but I know that
take the day off from what I'm gathering here.
I know that, what is it, Jim Cuddy, the Jim Cuddy band of formerly, was it Blue Oyster? He is going to be performing at Jacuzzi Park. So they have 3 bands there, I think. And I know they have the food trucks and stuff like that, and all the big bouncy castles for the kids and everything else. So, I mean, for a lot of people, it's a way to get out of the house and go and see what's going on. And I think at 10 o'clock they have the fireworks this year. It's not midnight. It's I think it's around 10 o'clock they have the fireworks. So
okay, you know what? Hopefully that's a good. It normally is pretty good, but this year, I think this might be the first year since the fireworks ban that they're doing it. So hopefully it's extra good, and there's a number of people there, because it's very few times in the year we really get to do a celebration like this.
Well, don't forget, I mean, you're not allowed to set off any fireworks other than designated like low-end fireworks and everything else, but. There's it's not a total ban, but there are.
Are you sure? Like, I keep hearing that's the problem with how things are changing. Is it a total ban, or is it you can do the short range stuff?
I think they're short range in a certain time frame and blah 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 blah. But they banned the amount of fireworks that can be sold in. Well, they banned selling fireworks in Brampton, but people still get them. So it'll be an interesting thing to see how many people set off fireworks. Diwali is the next big one after this, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. And then the final event we want to talk about is a summer party.
Oh yeah.
By in wards
7 and 8. Yeah.
Ward 7 and 8 with the local school trustee Carla Bailey, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, and local city councilor Rod Power. They're both, I guess, recently elected last municipal election. And so I don't think I've ever seen an event like this, end of school party, where the local counselor and trustee get together and do this. So I'm going to be there, Don. I don't know if you're going to be there as well, right?
Well, yeah, because we have students that we hire every year, and we have to keep them engaged throughout their internship. So what we do is we get them to do certain things around the community. And one of them now is that COVID is over, because that was a big stumbling block for us for the last 2.5 years. was actually having them engage in the community and get videos and, you know, do all sorts of things in regards to communication. So yes, we're going to have some of our interns at that event covering it. And
and there is food and an ice cream truck there. Hopefully we don't get in trouble, Don, because I actually messaged Trustee Bailey if we could release this, because I know she's gotten tremendous response to this in terms of the number of people that have registered. And I'm not really sure if they're looking to increase registrations at this point, because there's only so much food and so many ice creams that could be.
Well, no, they have a certain time, so they have the list that you can go to register. If you have to go to register to get a food and your ice cream ticket. So if you don't register and show up, you're not going to get one. But I haven't registered yet, but I know that when I go there, I will be getting a hamburger, hot dog, and an ice cream cone without a ticket.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No, no, that is not going to happen.
Oh yes, yes.
No. Oh, and I cannot. And look, should we have this discussion now, Don? Let's so everybody, if you live in Ward 7 and 8, I think they're limited to 7 and 8 because they can't handle the capacity, which is a lot of schools.
Well, they're the trustees for 7 and 8 and the council for 7 and 8, so that's what they're doing.
Yeah, so carlabailey.ca/summer 2023. Register there, and we'll see you there. It's at it's
Greenbrier Middle School,
and it's for all families and kids. Families. I don't think they just want kids showing up there because there's no.
Well, that's why you got to register and stuff like that, right? So it's basically a middle school. Greenbrier is a middle school. It's not a high school, and it's not like a it's so.
So Don, let's have this discussion. You raised it, right? If I showed up there and tried to get free ice cream cone and food, I would not. If you show up there and do that, you would.
Because they like me. That's why they like me. And actually, I'm a nice guy. And I go up and I say, "How you doing? Hey, give me one of those, like hot dogs or hamburgers." And they give me one, right? Because they know I'm a nice person. You, on the other hand.
Whereas I would say, "Hey, is that free?" And they'd say, "No, you have to get a ticket." And I'd say, "Where do you get a ticket from?" "Oh, you have to go online," or maybe they do it over that. I'll go over the desk, and then they'll say, "Oh, there's no more tickets."
Yeah, but I know Carla and Rod, so I can bypass the line.
Okay, we'll see. Because let's do a test. I'm not going to show up with any ticket either.
Okay.
And let's see what happens.
All right. Let's see if the old white guy gets a ticket and Faz doesn't. Is that what you're saying? I'm
going to fix it if you get it.
So tomorrow, Faz, you're telling me it's Eid tomorrow, correct?
It's the second Eid that we celebrate every year in the Muslim faith. Yes.
So what's the difference between the first Eid and the second Eid?
The first Eid is after the month of Ramadan. It's like a celebration. Everybody typically is home. This Eid is. There's a number of things, but it happens after the Hajj, which is your pilgrimage to Mecca. It's actually, from what I gather, my mother keeps telling me this, it's the bigger of the two Eids, but the first one gets all the attention.
Okay, so as a Muslim, do you not have to at least do one pilgrimage in your lifetime?
Yes, that is one of the pillars of faith.
And so have you done a pilgrimage yet?
I have not done a pilgrimage yet, and I am not a big fan.
Why not?
I'm not a big fan of Saudi Arabia and their human rights, and I don't really feel like supporting that country. And the fact that I just said this, they probably are now taking notes, and I will never get the visa to get there ever in my lifetime.
Well, I mean, you can't do a Hajj without going to Saudi. Unfortunately, that's where
So maybe I'll sneak in somewhere. I don't know if I could do that.
And that is a supposed resting place of Muhammad, is it not?
Well, that's not. So let's just be clear here, Don. The Prophet Muhammad is not like somebody Muslims worship. He's just the prophet,
right? And
he set the example, and you kind of follow the example. I actually don't know where the prophet is buried, but it is in Saudi Arabia. I think there's actually a mosque called the Prophet's Mosque where he might be buried. But the whole thing about the prophet was he didn't want to be like eulogized or statues made of him or people worshiping him. And I think that's where a lot of the non-Muslim community, they believe it. They believe he's like kind of the way Catholics or Christians would view Jesus, which is kind of the reincarnation of God almost, right? Muslims view Jesus the same way they view Muhammad as just another prophet sent here to show an example of how to live a decent life.
So what is in the black stone, basically? What is that?
None. I am not a scholar here, so
okay. You're a member of the faith. If somebody asks me what's in the Vatican, I can tell you what's in the Vatican.
Gold. Gold is in the Vatican. That's the easy one. Yeah, but there's a black stone there. Apparently, it's impossible to move. I don't. You know what? If I do ever go to Hajj, I'll do all the research and study intently. I learned all this as a kid, and it goes in one ear and out the other ear. I try to just live a good life, and I think I do a good job of that.
All right. So
I'm not the judge.
No, you won't be the judge because you will be judged on your judgment day, correct?
Yes. Okay. As will you, right, Don? You're going to be judged. I can judge you. If you don't believe somebody's going to judge you, I can judge you.
I get judged every day by people who think they're God.
Okay, so this episode was not supposed to be a theology exercise.
No,
I know
not
you're
by any means, but it's interesting that you told me, because you told me that basically it was Eid, and I'm like, okay, well, Eid was after Ramadan, but apparently there's two, so now I learned something. Okay.
Yes.
There you go. So, is there a special feast tomorrow?
Yes. Well, there's always family gatherings, and there's food and stuff. Of course, there's family gatherings. It's going to be food.
Right. So, is there a special food for this second Eid?
No, it's just more a cultural thing, right?
Okay.
Wherever you come from, that's what you eat.
Okay.
So this one, there's something called qurbani, which is the meat. So I don't want to go through the whole reason why there was meat, because I'm not. I don't like talking about this stuff because I'm not an expert. I'm not a scholar.
That's okay.
Thanks, Ron. But there is meat. Animals are being slaughtered. There is meat,
and it's halal, right?
Of course, it's halal.
Yeah.
We're not. Yeah. And so, you're supposed to share the meat for charity. You're supposed to share it with family and friends, and then you're supposed to keep some for yourself. So that meat is typically cooked over the next 3 days or so. The animals are all going to be slaughtered tomorrow. So it takes a while, right? You can't just.
So is that lamb or is it?
It could be lamb. It could be a cow. So I think a cow is worth a certain amount of shares compared to a lamb because they're different size animals. So technically every Muslim is supposed to do this, but if there's let's say
as a Muslim you have to share, but can you share with non-Muslims?
100%. Yeah, that'd be charity.
Well, okay. Well, here you go. So I'm just putting in my dibs now.
All right.
So that if you're going to share anything, I will be seeing you on Thursday. You can keep a little bit aside for me.
All right, Don. Maybe I'll think about it.
Well, don't forget you're going to be judged at the end of life. So that's part of the whole premise of this second Eid, from what I understand. So
So one of your faiths you're supposed to go to Mecca for your Hajj.
Right.
The other pillar of faith is you're supposed to pray your 5 prayers every day, and I fail badly on that one, Don.
Okay.
I'm not going to say, but I fail badly on that.
Well, I've given up on Christianity a long time ago, and Judaism, and any kind of organized religion. I sort of go for the unorganized religion, which is a way better. You got all sorts of things you can do whenever you want to do it, right? So if like I was taking up the Norse religion, that would be great, right? Because
there's a name for a religion. I actually saw it their structure. I think it's the Benai, but anyways, it's all the religion kind of wrapped up in one, and they take the good elements of all of them. And so I think they got like 2 million followers around the world. But the reason I kind of started researching them is because I think in Chile they built like a structure that just looked phenomenal, and apparently it's being copied somewhere in the GTA. So I'm looking forward to seeing that being built, like a much smaller version of it. Yeah.
So basically, you do that. You wrap in all the holidays. You get to celebrate all the holidays.
I don't know, but it looks enticing, right?
Yeah, well, it's like if every holiday gets met with a feast, it's like, man, like, you're having a good time all the way around. There's no bad days. Come on. Who would want that?
But then, Don, you also have to do all of the things that all of the religions.
Yeah, but some of them bisect, they intersect, and it's like, why am I doing this twice when I already did it for the Christian religion? Why am I going here? It's you can actually cross off the lines. It's actually not a bad idea because
whenever I go to a church, for whatever, I do go to churches because I'm invited to things, and I'm sitting on the what do you call
pew.
it? Pews.
Yeah.
I am so jealous because in my religion, you sit on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm getting older, Don, and that's just not working for me. And so what a lot of the mosques will have is chairs along the side.
Yeah.
And even my dad, who's 87, doesn't like sitting in those chairs, but now he's sitting in them. I don't think I can sit in them for another 20 years without kind of getting that look. Something's wrong with you. But yeah, it's like sitting on the ground. I know the Sikh religion too. I've been in some gurdwaras recently this year, learning about their faith. Same kind of thing. But you know what the gurdwaras have done? One of them, the Regan Road Gurdwara, they have a space at the back. They've kind of dug it out, formed it with concrete, so that the older people can sit there at floor level with their feet down, which is fantastic. That's a great innovation.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to have, the idea is basically prostrating. I mean, when I was in Istanbul, I went to the Hagia Sophia, and I actually went to the Blue Mosque. There's a couple other smaller mosques in there. And as you said, I mean, but there's no chairs lining there at all. There's just, it's one big open space that's carpeted.
Yeah. But it's getting tiring on my body, Don.
Yeah, well, see, that's why I didn't take up, I didn't follow any religion. Like I just sort of basically,
you would be eligible with your brand new knees to sit in the chairs.
I would. By the way, how's your daughter doing? She tore her ACL?
She's going through physio. It's very torturous for her. She was crying to her mom today because her mom was at work and I was at home, that I wasn't feeding her lunch and all sorts of things. Because she has to come downstairs. So I can't wait for her to get better, to be honest.
Well, it's a long physio. So we have a question from, what do we got here?
We got a question from, it looks like Dottie.
I was waiting on Facebook for notification of show to pop up, a show only on YouTube.
It's everywhere.
On Facebook.
It's everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're not on Instagram. We're not on. Oh, sorry, it's my phone.
Yeah, probably your wife calling, tell you when's the show gonna end. I got to go shopping for you.
It's actually an alarm. I have to pick her up from the GO train, but that was from yesterday.
All right. Well, listen, there's a lot of stuff to do over the coming summer months. We'll be talking to you on a regular basis. What's going on in the city? Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things that are opening up now that summer is here. The hot weather's coming, so it's going to be, from what I understand, it's supposed to be, Environment Canada saying it's a little bit hotter than normal. So Professor's Lake, as I said, is going to be open on the 29th. I think the conservation area up there is already open. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to get out, enjoy the city, biking. How's your biking doing, Faz, with the e-bike?
I've been biking in the rain, and I feel like a kid. And I intentionally go through puddles and stuff because the fenders on my bike are fantastic. I put on my rain jacket. Don, I can't tell you how enjoyable riding an e-bike is at any time of the day so far. And I haven't done it in winter. I'm looking forward to winter to see how that works out. That might be the toughest part.
The battery, will the battery last as long in the wintertime? That's the other thing.
Well, I know. I tell everybody I have an e-bike and they think I'm just like sitting on my bike but I'm actually pedaling.
No.
I'm using the assist. You can actually ride a bike on full electric mode, but I don't understand the purpose of that. I guess if for transportation, it would make sense, but it has pedals. And so if you use the e-assist, then you just, your battery will, I have not run out of battery. So that's not an issue, and I've ridden probably an hour one way and an hour back, and I still had charge on the battery. What it does do is flat, like I said last time, it flattens hills. So,
Yeah.
the hardest part about riding is like the drudgery of going up a steep hill.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 or 3 spots wherever I got to go that I know that there's hills. And that's why I haven't really ridden for transportation. But with an e-bike, those hills are no longer an issue. And also you have the power assist on the throttle. You can actually just go 100%, so that if you're on the side of a road and you really need to get out of something or get somewhere, you have that confidence that you can get there. Whereas if you had to pedal and you're in the wrong gear, and things can go wrong. But it's and I find myself going on the road a lot more, unfortunately, on a road that doesn't have a bike lane, just because there's not bike lanes everywhere.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to be riding on the sidewalk anyway, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do that. But
yeah, and I've gotten comments about somebody. I was on the sidewalk on Queen Street where the construction is, just because there's no way for me to go, and somebody was yelling at me. It's like, get off the sidewalk. And then at Queen and Chinguacousy, I get off my bike to cross that intersection, because that's a scary intersection for me.
Yeah,
so I get off the bike, I walk across, and then a guy's turning left, like towards me, and he's like winds down his window. You're not supposed to walk your bike across the road. You're supposed to ride. It's like,
absolutely, you're not.
What are you talking about?
He doesn't know what he's talking about, because you are supposed to walk your bike across a crosswalk.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do it other than myself, to be honest.
No, I have. In fact, I was by a school the other day, and there was a young kid got off his bike and walked it across. But that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? So
yeah. So yeah, I think I tweeted earlier this week that in BC they have a $1,200 rebate depending on your income. So I think all the way up to $350 rebate, and to qualify, you only have to, your income is 50,000. Anybody over 50,000 and above gets the $350, and then it's a scale below that, all the way down to up to $1,200, which is fantastic, right? $1,200.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a big difference for a lot of people. It would make it, like, I'm already looking at them. I might buy, regardless, but at the same time, segueing into bike lanes, Olivia Chow got elected as mayor of Toronto.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Well, you don't watch the news? Anyway, it'll be interesting to see, because Gil Pelanosa was one that actually he ran in the last, and he endorsed her, right? So he's a big bike advocate. He's a big walkable city. 8 to 80 is what he preaches. So let's see what kind of influence he has, and Olivia Chow, because she's very bike centric as well. Let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting to watch over the next 4 years in Toronto. Under her
3 years,
mayoralship.
3 years, because it's a by-election, right? So
yeah.
3 years,
but
yeah.
It'll be interesting.
I don't think you can do much in 3 years, to be honest, other than set a tone, because to do any kind of major infrastructure. But I could be completely wrong here, right? But I do know that like Mark Saunders wanted to rip out bike lanes, and Olivia Chow.
He didn't win.
He didn't win. Not even close.
No.
No. So, I'm actually looking forward to see what the city of Brampton does, because we're a smaller city. I think we're still growing. We're still like doing roads, right? We have an opportunity, and then the what's the Orangeville Rail?
Yeah. But don't forget, I mean, we're more a suburb. We're not an established city.
We're getting denser, Don, and this is the time to make sure that there are these pathways for people to get from A to B. I see it. I was a big critic of biking in Brampton, just because in my area there's no trails, and I live in a relatively new area, 20 years. But if you go anywhere along the Etobicoke Creek, there's that great trail, and then there's the spider web of connections to it. I don't understand why that wasn't continued across the city. Like, we have the Credit Valley River, which doesn't have a trail along it. In Mississauga, they have some trails. So I don't understand what's going on with Credit Valley in Brampton.
Well, don't forget, Credit Valley Conservation Area is controlled by the Toronto Conservation Authority. It's not controlled by Brampton. It's a Toronto.
Right.
That falls under there.
But in Mississauga, they have trails along the Credit Valley River. In Brampton, I don't think there are any, to be honest.
We're going to see, because one of my things they're going to be talking to is, I'm going to be checking out that, and by next week, we'll see what's going on. How about that?
Oh, You have a video you're working on. Yes. Okay. That's not Credit Valley though, Don.
No, it isn't. That's Clareville.
Yeah. But that's why I'm excited about that railway conversion to a bike trail, because that is a great northwest path. It's actually more than northwest, because some of it actually goes like diagonally, like northeast.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it takes time to, to get, all these things in place, and it, there's all sorts of permits and this and that and everything else. So, it takes time. If you're an established city like Paris or something like that, you just block off the lanes. The lanes are already there. The highway is just a matter of blocking off certain lanes, and Paris has done that. They've done that very well. The Champs-Élysées, basically, they've cut back. It used to be a 4-lane highway. It's now, I think it's down to 1 lane, not a highway, but a roadway, and it's down to 1 lane now for cars.
Yeah. So, I think if Olivia Chow tries to do that in Toronto, she'll lose. Because at the end of the day, she only won with 35% of the vote at a by-election. Yeah. So to me, that's not a mandate.
Well, right. There's provincial governments there's provincial and federal governments that have been elected with less of a mandate that basically are given.
Right, but she also only has 1 vote, right? She's not a ruling.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see if Doug Ford gives her a strong vote, because I think didn't Doug Ford give Toronto a strong mayor vote?
Yes.
Yes. So
that does not apply to things like bike lanes. I think that's just like developments. You can just
I think basically if the mayor has something that wants to put through, there's
no, really. We'll have to research that, Donna. I would love to know what these, because Brampton doesn't have it yet, but Brampton's getting it, and
yes, Brampton and Mississauga
most of the GTA cities are getting it from what together.
Yeah. So anyway, it's 7:00, 7:01. We're 1 minute over our time frame. We will say goodbye, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Okay, bye, Don.